Welcome back. Today I'm going to tell you a story. It's a very unusual story, and I'm going to try to articulate it as best as I possibly can because somehow it's a little bit hard for me to share with all of you exactly what I mean, but I'm going to do my best. Ever since I can remember, I was always a different type of person. I was different in so many ways. I had different enjoyments in life. I liked things different. My humor was different than my family. I was what you would call maybe the oddball, the eccentric one in my family. And growing up, I always thought it would be fun to wear bandanas. I always loved the look of bandanas. Now, I grew up in a plain area where most of the women wore coverings, but when they were working out at their homes, in their gardens, they wore bandanas. Even the Amish in our area, they don't wear their bonnets when they're working in the garden. They'll wear bandanas, but when they go away in public, of course, then they wear their coverings. I always liked the look of my bandanas, and I never wore them at all because I was always afraid of what other people would think or say. Now that may sound strange depending on the area that you're from. So I know a lot of people in Tennessee said, well, a lot of girls wear bandanas, Tessie. That's nothing unusual. But if you find my area, I never see anybody in a bandana. And if I do, I'll say to my husband, oh my goodness, she's got a bandana on. It's very rare. So me with a bandana in public is very rare. You don't see that often. So when I started my YouTube channel, I wanted to do all of the things that I wanted to do, but I was too afraid to do them in my everyday home setting. And thus I started on wearing the bandanas. I wore bandanas from day one on my YouTube channel. Now, I didn't wear them every single time on my channel, but as the years progressed, you were seeing more and more me wearing my bandanas. Now, every once in a while, you'll see me not wearing one, but I do wear them more often than not. And why do I find comfort in these bandanas? Well, let me tell you that little bit of that story. For me, when I started out making a YouTube channel, it was the hardest thing I ever had to do. Now, that may not sound like very hard to all of you, but somebody who had a hard time with speaking skills, I had a hard time with articulating things, I had a hard time with speaking in general, and I was so nervous and afraid, and I had such anxiety. But when I put the bandana on, all of a sudden, I became someone different in my mind. I became someone who was strong. I became someone who could articulate better. I became somebody different. The real me was what came out when I wore my bandana. And all of a sudden, I started doing things that were very hard, but I associated the hard things with wearing my bandana. So whenever I had to do something very hard in life that was hard for me to do, I would slip on my bandana, and all of a sudden I had the courage. Yes, it's just a hairpiece. I have a collection of bandanas, more collection of bandanas than probably anyone in this world. I have bins full of bandanas, and I have them throughout the years from loving viewers, subscribers, and friends who would see a bandana and think of me. So I have candy canes for Christmas. I made some with pieces of cloth. And then, of course, I have my signature bandanas that are the different colors. And then all of a sudden, I had to do something very hard in life. Now, up until this point, I never had anything this hard before. But years ago, when my parents died, I had to speak in front of about 200 people, may have been a little more than that. And it was very hard for me. I had to speak in front of family. I had to speak in front of strangers. And I felt in my heart I wanted to give a speech. I gave a speech about my adoption and how my parents have really influenced my life. But I put my bandana on, and all of a sudden, I was Homestead Tessie again. I felt the courage and the strength to be able to do all of those things I needed to do. And as the years go by, my bandana has become a source of strength for me because I associate it with having strength. I associate it as being different, as my signature aprons. In the beginning, when I wore my aprons and my bandanas, I was made fun of a lot by strangers on the internet. And what do strangers really know, right? And in the beginning, I took it to heart. I took it real personal because I thought, oh my goodness, I must be very silly looking, even though I loved it. And there for a little time, I put my bandana and I put my aprons away. This was many years ago, but I didn't find it that it was me. So I went back to being me, different. So now you see me color coordinated always. Part of my life with wearing the bandanas was something that I did for my YouTube channel in public. And my siblings and my family members really didn't know that much about me. They didn't know about me wearing bandanas. They didn't really watch many of my videos that I know of. And so when I got to the get together and I gave my speech, I had the stares. Oh, I did. And they weren't friendly stares either. It was like, what is she doing? What does she look like? And you know what? I embraced all of it because we're all different. We all love different things. And I wish my mom and dad were alive so I could share with them all of the things and the influences they had on my life and share with them my life now. So for 8 years, the bandana has been a source of strength for me. It has showed me that I can be me and enjoy me, even though it is different. I can wear the bandanas today and say, you know what? I'm embracing being different. I'm embracing being me and loving the bandanas for the strength and the courage and the confidence they have given me. Is there something that you've always wanted to do ever since you were a child, but you were always afraid of doing it? I would say when you reach your 50s, you don't really care so much about what people think or what people say. And all of a sudden, you find happiness and fun in doing the things that you always wanted to do. At least that's happened for me. I'm never going to go back to not wearing a bandana. It's part of my life now. I go to the grocery store wearing it. A couple years ago, I did a video when I first started wearing my bandana going to the grocery store, because it all started with me first wearing it at home here and making videos. And that video got a lot of attention. A lot of people didn't quite understand that video. And I look back on it and I think, yep, it's exactly how it is now, because it is different. It is unique. But you know what? What I notice now is I find that people that are very different, there's a lot of people that wear different dress styles. And I always compliment them on that because I think that they are breaking out of the mold and they are showing the artistic life in their dress, and it's different. It's okay to be different. We don't always have to be like everyone else. And you know what? If I learned that at 55, it's better than learning it at 95, right? So yes, embracing the things that make you different can bring you such peace and happiness and contentment, and it helps you become a stronger person as well. So yes, I love my bandanas, maybe for reasons that are very unusual, but I love them because they've given me my identity and it's helped me become the person I've always wanted to be. Take care, everyone. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Everyone, I really want to thank you all for coming out to help celebrate Bill Martin's life. And I am the baby, I'm the youngest, and I have a story to tell all of you. I have a lot I'd like to say, but I wrote it down, so it's easier for me. All of you have come together because Bill and Darlene impacted your life in some way. Today I want to share with you how Bill and Darlene impacted me. I am the youngest child, and I was born on January 12th, 1970, but you see, I was not Bill and Darlene Martin's little girl. In fact, I was someone else's child. My birth mother died 48 hours after I was born. My birth father at the time could not take care of me, and through the chain of events, I was brought to Bill and Darlene Martin's house early one day. I became their little girl. Now, Mother did not know she was getting a newborn child. I came along with nothing but what I was wearing as the story was told. So she was not prepared. So she stayed up all night long and sewed me my very first dress. Or you see, that was the kind of woman that Darlene Martin was. She didn't just stand around and wait for someone else to fulfill a need. When Darlene seen a need, she sprang into action. And she stayed late into the night to show me that. She always took great satisfaction in being a homemaker. She said, "Tessie, if a job is worth doing, it's worth doing right." And these are the things she instilled in me at a very young age. Whether she was teaching me how to wash the floor, how to properly hang the wash on the clothesline, she would always say, "Now, Teresa, make sure you don't stretch the bottom of the shirt. Add 3 clothespins." My mother was always seeing to the needs of her household before her very own needs. She always took care of my father, from combing his hair every morning to laying his clothing out exactly the way he was supposed to wear it. Mother provided everything for father. He didn't lack in anything. Mother was an excellent Pennsylvania Dutch cook. She made her own pies, cookies, cakes, and wonderful food. She catered to father and only made the things he liked to eat. It didn't take much to make Daddy happy, but he was a sneaky eater, and I bet he got that from the Martin side. Maybe not. I think you all liked your Pennsylvania Dutch food. But Mom loved salads, and every once in a while she tried to get Daddy to eat one of her salads. And Daddy would say, "Oh, now, Mom, you know I'm not a rabbit." Mom was always an amazing seamstress who sewed most of her own clothing. She would work in the kitchen, and she would tell stories about her childhood. She loved her family dearly, and she talked often about her brothers and her sisters and what life was like for her. Looking back, she would be the first one to tell you that she was not a very good singer, but she sang every day while she worked in the kitchen. And you know what? The Lord loved her singing, and he loved her so much. I remember my mother singing, "Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see." Now let's talk about Daddy a little bit. Daddy had an amazing gift in life. It was the gift to make people laugh. I was always Daddy's little girl, and he would always sing to me, "Sweet little Miss Teresa." That was the kind of father I had. He was always kind, loving, gentle, and he never got angry. He was lighthearted and childlike in his demeanor. He played a big role in my life. He looked at the bright side of things and would always say something to joke about. He taught me to smile and to laugh and not worry what other people thought. He'd say, "Be yourself." I miss my parents very much. When Mother passed away, it wasn't sudden. She had a long and hard illness. Her voice, and often we wondered how much my mother understands. One day I sat with my mother a few years ago, and I had a vision. I sat beside Mother and I told her my vision. You see, I had a vision that we both were in heaven, and Mother and I were both the same age. We were in our 30s, and we were wearing beautiful white dresses, and we were barefoot. We had long pigtails, and we were running in a field of daisies. The sky was a blue that I have never seen in my life. And the fields of daisies were as far as you could see. Mother and I were running, and we fell to the ground laughing. I believe this was a vision. And when I told my mother, she looked at me, and one single tear fell from her eye. I knew right then and there that Mother understood. Daddy's sudden death is still hard on me. I wanted my parents to live forever on this earth, but alas, that was not to be. In life, Mom took care of Dad, and then Dad took care of Mom, visiting her every single day at the nursing home. God sent Daddy home to be with Mom, because Dad's work on earth was finished. I'm going to share with you something not many, if anyone even knew. But every night before bed, in my 17 years of living there, every single night, Mom and Dad would kneel beside the bed and they would pray. After they prayed, they told each other, "I love you, and I love you too." This was done every single night of my childhood, and that is a legacy they left behind, and that was one of love. There's one last thing I want to share with all of you. because I feel it's important for me to publicly thank my birth father for making that heart-wrenching decision to give me up for adoption. His act of kindness impacted my life forever. He knew I would be loved and cared for just like their own flesh and blood, and I will forever be grateful to the Martins for loving me and accepting me just like them.